morning. We're going to do some more patterning today, and this one is a little bit more complicated. That's okay though, we've totally got it. And mistakes, it doesn't matter. Good is good enough. So we're going to be using two colors, or rather two sizes of the same color. At least that's what I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using a light green thick and a light green thin. You can choose to do thick and thin of the same colors or different colors if you'd like as well. So I'm going to take my thick marker. This is my acrylic painter. Love these so much. And I'm going to make a smooth, curved, wavy line. And I'm going to try to do it at an angle, which is a little bit more difficult than doing it up and down, but you can do it. And it doesn't have to be perfect. So I'm going to, I guess because I'm right-handed, it's going to be a little easier for me to do it this direction. And if you want to, you can take your paper and you can turn it a little bit if that makes it easier for you. I'm going to leave my paper like this so that you can see how it's oriented. I'm going to make long, curved, smooth lines. Now, if you feel more comfortable making these horizontal or vertical, then that's okay too. You can do that on your paper, make it horizontal or vertical. Now, right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 5 of these lines. If you have 6, that's fine. If you have 4, that's probably fine too. This is pretty good spacing, and I'm going to give it just a minute to dry, and then I'm going to really slowly copy the line right next to it so that I'll have doubles of each of these lines. I'm giving it a minute to dry so that my hand doesn't smear across the paper and track some of my green. So now I'm pretty sure it's dry. So I'm going to come in here, and this is the part that you really want to do slowly, because you're going to try to mimic the line right next to it, copy it right next to it. So each curve is copied. Close is close enough, but the goal is to try to keep about the same distance between your lines as the thickness of the line itself, more or less. And if you find that you're having a hard time, if you're struggling to get a line that's curved in the same way, it just means that you're probably going a little bit too fast. So definitely slow down for this line. And it might not be perfect, but that's okay. All right. Look, I can see how I dragged my hand through. See? Okay. Hopefully I have a dry hand. I am a messy artist, and I just embrace that. I've decided it's okay. All right, so now we're going to start patterning inside these little curves. So wherever a curve is inside. So we're going to start, we can kind of decide where we're going to start. I'm going to start, I don't know, let's start right here. Inside one of my curves, I'm going to make a little like sun semicircle. And I'm going to make 3 of those, like that. And then I'm going to make loops, kind of like petals. Kind of go slow, and I'm going to make 3 of those. And I'm mimicking or copying the shape. And then I'm going to make more of these like semicircles. Now I'm going to come back. So I did 3, 3, and 3. 3 semicircles, 3 sets of petals that kind of mimic each other, curve out, and then onto each other, kind of like a bird's feather, tail feathers. And then 3 more semicircles. I'm going to come back and I'm going to color in the first of my semicircles. You can do this with your small marker or your big marker. And then in the first set of petals, I'm going to make little tiny semicircles that I'm going to color in. And then I'm going to go on to the next inset curve. I'm going to make a little semicircle, 2, 3. I'm going to make petals, 3 sets of petals. Curve, really taking my time. Hi, Gus. Gus is here to help. And then, Gus, you make it hard for me sometimes. And then I'm making big arching. I'm going to color in my first semicircle. And then going to make my little semicircles inside here. I'm going to do the same thing in each of these inset, all of these insets. So now we have this inside here, and most of the space is taken up with our designs, but some of it is still black in here, empty. We're going to go ahead and fill those spaces. So where this design here is going underneath the design opposite it, you can do a couple of things. You're just going to continue to copy, repeat the curves until they fill that space. And it can be the curves from either side. You can flip it, like you can continue to extend these curves all the way. Maybe this one goes all the way underneath all of them. Maybe this one here starts to come out and goes underneath here, and then maybe this one starts to fill in. It's really up to you, but we're going to, using these curves, we're going to fill that space with repeating curves. And you can decide which it repeats off of. If it repeats off of the same shell, or if it repeats off of the one opposite it. We're just repeating the pattern and filling in that space. Now over here, we would have a circle over here. You can decide to kind of, maybe this is beginning circle, and we can fill it in with our design. And then as soon as you hit a line from one of the designs opposite it, then just stop your line, continue on the other side, as if one design is going underneath another design. Come around here, and the same thing, we're going to be using our arcs. Now, you can even actually use the paper underneath your black paper. If this curve were to extend, then it might do something like that. If this one was to extend, it might do something like that, which means that my design would be here. And you can even just draw on your sketchbook to see how it would end up reaching the black paper. So look at this. We're just drawing it part way on and part way off of our black paper so that we can see kind of how it would repeat. Just like that. That's totally fine. Maybe this one extends and goes underneath. So you can see the full design, but then when you move away, you have the partial design, but it's actually in the correct proportions and in the correct place, as if that starting line were to extend. So we're going to do this design inside each of these spaces. You can either follow along or you can work on your own. Have fun with it and keep yourself from going too fast. Now we might want to double check and make sure that we haven't missed in any of the spots that are supposed to be shaded in. I missed one there, and my little accents on my petals. And make sure all of my centers of my first semicircle are shaded in, and my little petals have those accents. There you go. Great job. It's beautiful.